That's all you're going to do, is march around the city. Okay? Fine, whatever. And on the 7th day, you're going to march around the city 7 times. Maybe, who knows, maybe the marching of the feet shook the ground to the point that it weakened the walls or something, and everything was, the structural integrity of the earth was wrong or something. I don't know. But they marched around it 7 times, and then he says, what you're going to do is you're going to blow horns as loud as you possibly can. And the walls are going to fall down. Yeah. That sounds weird. But that's exactly what happened. That the walls were fall down. And God told the people of Israel, He told the Israelites that everything in the city, every woman, man, child, livestock, all of that is going to be killed. Nothing left alive. No puppy dogs, no kittens, nothing. Everything is dead. And all the stuff, all their gold, all their jewelry, all their power, all their beautiful artworks, all their fine linens, everything that they own has been dedicated for destruction. That everything is to be destroyed. Sounds like a fair plan, right? Now people will argue with the fact that maybe this is, kind of harsh, that all those innocent people had to die. But listen, from what I've read and what I understood, Jericho was a really bad city in the first place. They weren't good people. Sin lived in this place. It was worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. It was about on the same level as Sodom and Gomorrah. And if you've ever read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, where God said that where Abraham prayed, if there are 10 righteous people, will you spare the city? And there are not 10 righteous people. So God spared Lot and his family, the only righteous people in the city. There was only one person that was able to survive the destruction of Jericho, and I'll tell her story some other time. This is not her story. The whole point was everything was told to be destroyed. Everything was said to be dedicated to destruction for a holy purpose. And picking up in Joshua chapter 6, verse 26. So Joshua then pronounced this oath, saying, "Cursed before the Lord be anyone who tries to build this city, this Jericho. The cost of his firstborn he shall lay its foundation. At the cost of his youngest, all he shall set up his gates." So basically, no city can ever be built where Jericho used to be. That's where Jericho used to be. It ain't there no more. And it should never be there again. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame was in all the land. And then chapter 7, verse 1 starts with this really ominous word. But the Israelites broke faith in regard to the devoted things, the things set apart for destruction. Achan, son of Carmison, of Zabdi, son of Zerah, the tribe of Judah, took some of the devoted things, and the anger of the Lord burned against the Israelites. This story is Achan's story. So, Jericho is down, the big city of Jericho. The walls fell down, everything is destroyed. Almost everything is destroyed. Everything that they know of has been burned. Everything has been set apart. But Achan saw this couple of items and he says, why do all of these things have to be destroyed? They are pleasing to the eye. They're good for their hope. They're good for the future. This gold can be used. The silver can be used. This, and he got a cloak of some sort, and he said, this is a very nice cloak. It will look pretty good if I hide it for a few days. For a while. Nobody will ever know where it came from eventually. I'm just going to hide it for a few days. While Joshua was unaware of this, he decides to go and get the next city called Ai. Ai is not as big as Jericho. Small comparison. And Ai was just the next city. But it needed to be destroyed. Those people needed to be wiped out and sent away. Because this land was not Ai's land. This land was Israel's land. And Joshua sent men from Jericho, verse 2, 7 verse 2. Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is near Beth-aven, east of Bethel, and said to them, go up and spy out the land. And the men went up and spied out Ai. Then they returned to Joshua and said to him, not all the people need to go up there. About 2,000 or 3,000 men should go up and attack. Since there are so few, do not make the whole people toil up there. So about 3,000 of the people went to Ai. That makes sense, right? Why send everybody? You know, why do we need to send 30,000 people up there? Why don't we just send like a small contingent of folk? You know, a couple of guys, give them enough weapons, they got the power of God behind them. So they don't. It's a small people, they don't have a lot. We can do this with just a few men of people, and then we can have everybody else rest out. Sounds like a good plan, right? If you don't need 50 people to do something, 5 people will do, go for it. But they had this thought, that they had the thought that, hey, it's easy to happen. God is with us. And they won't put up much of a fight, and we can handle this. But the men of Ai, verse 5, the men of Ai killed about 36 of them, chasing them from the outside of the gates, as far as Shebarim, wherever that is, and killing them on the slope. The hearts of the people melted and turned to water. Ai was ready. Ai knew they were coming. Ai had the better weapons. Ai, for some reason, the 3,000 Israelites got up to Ai, and all of a sudden, they got freaking scared. God was not with them anymore. God was nowhere around in this fight. God said, you guys, have fun. Do what you got to do. And they said they killed 36 of them. What? At Jericho, it was a bigger city. Nobody died. No Israelite died. Here we just lost 36 people. Something's wrong. What the heck happened here? And the people freaked out. It says their hearts melted. You guys ever have this feeling like that? You know what it's feeling when you get a success and something just really good just happened, and then all of a sudden you try to do something else and it doesn't work out very well? You start feeling like, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to do. I've done that. One week I preach a really good sermon, and the next week I'm sitting there like, God, I don't know what I'm going to talk about tonight, and I feel like I really did a horrible job, and you know, I just failed miserably. My heart just melted, and I feel like it's this big, like I can't do that. I don't want to do this. Give up. And it gets back to Joshua, and Joshua tore his clothes and fell to the ground on his face, and before the ark of the Lord until the evening, and the elders of Israel, and they put the dust on their heads. And Joshua said, "Ah, Lord God, why have you brought the people across the Jordan to hand us over to the Amorites so as to destroy us? Would that we had been content to settle beyond the Jordan? Oh Lord, what can I say? Lord, what can I say now that Israel has turned their backs to their enemies? the Canaanites and the inhabitants of the land will hear it and surround us and cut off your name from the earth, then what will you do for your great name, O Lord? Why? One failure. One mistake. He's ready to throw in the towel. 36 people died. Let's give up. Let's go home. Yeah, 36 people are important. I'm not saying one death is important. One person dying is not good. But Joshua was ready to throw in the towel and say, Lord, you put the citizens to death. These Jews, these Israelites, they did that all the time. They're over-dramatic people. But it's okay. I'm not like that. I can understand where they're coming from. And one mistake and says, oh, Lord, I'm pitiful. I don't want to do this anymore. And then and whenever we get to the point where we just wallowing in self-pity and God always does this. I love it when he told, like when Job was going through this, and God says, gird up your loins. And he says, be a man. He tells Joshua, stand up. Get off your knees right now and listen. Why have you fallen on your face? Israel has sinned. They have transgressed my covenant. And I imposed on them that they have taken some of the devoted things. They have stolen. They have acted deceitfully. And they have put them among their own belongings. Joshua, there's sin in your camp. Joshua, somebody has broken my law. Somebody in your camp did something they weren't supposed to do, or didn't do something they were supposed to do. They sinned. They broke my law. And this is the reason why you failed at AI.